Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to the Profit Managed channel. My name is Alex, and in today's video we're going to be looking at Bitcoin. We're going to be discussing what I think is likely for Bitcoin next and a couple of other things. But before we start, as always, remember to like this video if you find this type of content useful and subscribe for more content like this. Alright guys, so lots of exciting stuff to talk about today. Of course, we're gonna get into the charts, but first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for 1,000 followers on Involve. You guys are killing it. Like today, especially today after my last post, every single one is spamming my account on the most recent. Like, it's crazy. Like, if I scroll down and I show you what you guys are doing, it's insane. Like, literally, we are all over the place. Profit Managed on top. 2024 is the year that that Profit Managed gets recognized in the industry, and honestly, I'm all year for it. Like, I'm so happy that you guys are in this for the ride. It's going to be a very crazy time, and yeah, I'm so happy to share my journey with you guys, tell you guys what I think is going on in the markets. So far so good, and I'm going to be bringing you guys the best alpha I can. I'm the person that tells you exactly what I think is going to happen. I don't sugarcoat jack shit. I don't care if it's Bitcoin and halving ETFs. I don't care about any of that. I just tell you exactly what I see on the technical side of things. And look, if I'm ever wrong, then so be it. I'm happy to be wrong as long as I publicly telling you what I think is happening next, and I do so on every video on Involio, where basically every single thought of mine is in there. So if you guys are not following me on Involio yet, make sure that you do, guys. Make sure that you do, because you can get some of my free trades. You can see that my accuracy is pretty good. This is a long-term position on an altcoin that I'm looking in, and that of course is in my portfolio. My profit and loss is 241%. I'm actually on a streak right now, I believe, of 23 trades. If I go on the Discover on top portfolios, as you guys can see, I'm right here, 23 trade win streak. So if you guys want to up on Involio, make sure that you follow me. Make sure that you keep up with the trades, with the post, so that you can get even more alpha that will drop on YouTube. And speaking of Involio, I wanted to share a couple of things that I sent on Involio a couple of days ago, and then we can take it from there, okay? So of course, here I was talking about the last video that I made. Where are we? The first thing that I am going to show you is basically this post that I sent. You guys can read it. I believe I covered this in my last video, which if you guys haven't watched, make sure that you do, because even the video before the last one that I made is very important, and I'm going to be putting it in this video so that you guys can check it out if you haven't already. And here I basically state that when things will become as clear as water and it will be too late for you to do anything about it, you will see phonies come out and tell you they sold the tops and told you what will happen next. I've been pretty open with my expectations for Bitcoin and what will be needed for me to say it's bullish. I haven't seen anyone here as bearish as me right now. So if you are, let us know right now. Don't let us know later when it is already done. Let us know before it happens, right? So remember who told you before it happened. And another thing that I want to tell you guys is that, look, I am not a bear like Capo, Crypto Savvy, and all these people that all they're talking about is bearish. Look, I'm a trader, okay? I take opportunities on both sides, whether it's bullish or bearish, I don't care. I trade it, okay? But the same approach I take with my portfolios, meaning that when I think that there is going to be upside, I take my positioning, okay? When I think that we're going to have a major retracement or something major happening in the market that will go against the long trend, I'm going to be selling my positions, okay? So right now, sadly on Involio, they made a new update, so you can't really show anyone's portfolio anymore. Or at least I don't know how to look for it anymore. But if you go on my previous video, you'll see that I'm 58% in altcoins and 42% in cash. This is to say that I am exposed into the market. I am bullish on altcoins, which if you guys are wondering why I do not cover altcoins in this video, is because altcoins is something that I cover within my community, which right now is closed, but I'm getting a lot of requests. Like, I get a lot of DMs that I'm not opening right now for this exact reason, because there's a lot of you guys that want to get in. They want to know my private trades, my what I'm holding and whatnot. My community right now is currently closed, okay? There's nothing that you can do about it, but what you can do right now is basically follow my Involio, subscribe to this channel so that you know when the community is going to be opening up again, okay? So right now, the best thing that you can do is watch these videos, follow me on Involio, because that's basically where you can find me. Yes, I'm on Twitter. Yes, I'm on Instagram. I basically do not use Instagram. I rarely use Twitter. So this is the way that you can get a hold of me, okay? Here also stated, I'm thinking we have a bit higher to go on BTC, but it's both not required nor does it invalidate my thesis, because I've always stated this, that I'll try to say one more time, this is the most important level for your BTC bulls currently, the area between 65 and 67k. If you 1%, okay, I'm not gonna read this all, but if you find resistance here, start to look down to 48 and 38. If you break above, which has happened, read, and find support, you absolutely need to break through the all-time high, not a mere wick, and close candles above that resistance, which we're going to be looking at in this video. Even if a new all-time high is made, if support doesn't get confirmed, you're still looking down, okay? I see people getting overly bullish, basically for nothing, because if you watch my previous video, by the way guys, I always check the feedback. I saw that you guys are loving these videos, man, and I'm so happy to make more for you guys. And look, nothing really changed when you look at it for the way it actually is. Then let me scroll up a bit more. I also told you that strap up this week will be wild. I was anticipating lots of volatility. On 11.3 we made a new all-time high for Bitcoin, but as you guys can see right now we're down. I'm going to be covering again all of this. I'm just taking it step by step. Here I also provided proof 4 days ago, so of something that I wrote on March 5th, where I said in a Telegram chat that very interesting on Bookmap, across all exchanges there are many orders, and this was before we hit this target, that there are many orders at around 71k. Those orders, just like any order, can be spoofed. Bookmap ain't loading properly, so a lot is missing based on what you see right here, okay? I also stated that there's currently this amount of Bitcoin at 70k, 70.8, 71, 72, and so on, okay? I was basically telling you that, look, if we go to these targets, you know why that is happening, okay? It's basically the market seeking liquidity, okay? The market moves based on where the liquidity is, okay? Then I also said, want to know what I think will happen next? Go to the 20th minute of the last video, okay? As you can see, today I closed the position. Then I also tell you why I closed the position, but essentially I took a short at 71.8 and closed today for a 56% gain on a 10x leverage short. Here I also stated that realistically, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but realistically I will not close the short because I'm thinking much lower, and I'm completely fine with going back in drawdown temporarily. But because I have a following and I understand that not everyone is so acceptant of such risk, I prefer to close the position on in volume. Okay, so look, I took a trade, which was a short, was a profitable trade. A lot of you guys took advantage of the short, made some money. I'm happy for you, but look, even though I closed it, I'm still looking down. And now we can finally go into the chart. And before I go into the chart, this is something that I basically sent on Telegram tonight, okay? At 1 a.m. European time, which is the time zone that I'm in. Don't look at this time frame because this is New York time frame. The correct time frame, if you want to see when I actually send these messages, are basically, and look, I'm just doing this for transparency. I'm showing you step by step exactly what I said at what time, just because I want to be transparent, guys. I want to be the most transparent person that you can find in this industry. This industry is full of fake people that tell you what you may want to hear at a specific time, when the whole time they were saying something different. I just want to show you proof in the pudding, okay? So hopefully you guys understand why I'm doing this with so much proof. So 1 a.m., basically 15 hours ago, I stated of this, of the 15th of March, because this is when I'm recording the video. Anyway, I'm expecting us to now dump eventually. And this was before the actual dump that we saw today towards 65k, I think. It was 66, I don't care. Whether it's 60k or 56k or 40 to 30k, I don't think it really matters. Because everyone will say, oh look, this happened in the past as well. Go and check. In every halving year, Bitcoin had a bearish March. And all of this stuff. But what I basically was trying to state here is that, look, people are going to be finding excuses. They're going to be thinking, look, this is bullish, this has happened before, yada yada yada, don't care. By the dip, because this is the last time you're going to be seeing these prices and whatever. Then I also stated that the fun happens after that, where I think maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, we make a new all-time high, meaning an higher price than the one that we're currently at, which is $73,700 on Kraken. I don't know what it is on other exchanges. Before a major crash back to the lows for Bitcoin. I'm just going off the technicals. I treat every single chart based on what I see. I don't sugarcoat shit just because it's Bitcoin. To me, this is just a range that has now broken to the upside and needs to revisit the downside of the range prior to moving far higher. So overall, look, I'm not super duper mega bearish or crypto, but I'm just telling you what I think it's necessary for the greater good. You may not like it, you may want to keep on believing that BlackRock has the best interest in you. Of course, BlackRock is gonna pump your bags. They're going to make you rich because that's in their best interest. And look, you can live in the fairy tale that you and your influencer are telling you. I'm not here to do that shit. Okay, so now let's get into the charts. Okay, as you guys can see, this is the same trend lines that I was telling you in the last video. As you guys can see, right now we are seeing resistance exactly at this trend lines. What a surprise, right? So we found resistance here, okay, and on the 4 hours, once I saw it, this is something that I sent to my community. Before the dump, I told them, look, if we break this low, start looking down, because it's basically an invalidation of market structure, at least in the short term. So when we broke here, I was like, yeah, we're going down, okay? And this is basically what happened. But now, even though I may have sounded way too excited, let me tell you one thing. It's very early to jump into conclusions, okay? I know this is getting excited. This is getting exciting, especially for the people that are in a good position like us. The real chats are out here that have their money stacked for real opportunities that are not FOMOing into narratives and stuff like that. For you chads out there, there's very good news coming soon. But like, look, the situation right now, and look, one thing that I want to do is take you to a very simple chart to understand, which is this chart for Bitcoin, which is basically the perpetual contract chart on Binance for Bitcoin. Because here I have pretty much the same trend lines, but it's a way easier chart to understand. Then we're going to go back to the other chart, okay? But the reason why I'm taking you here is because what we can see here is that we broke this trend line, okay? If you go on the 4-hour, okay, of the Bitcoin perpetual contract chart, you're going to see the same low that I'm taking here into consideration, okay? So what is happening here is exactly as following. Basically, we broke down on this trend line. We then retested, okay, as resistance, and then we have dumped lower. But if I go on the daily, what you see is that we have broken the trend line, but we have not had any retracement to the upside yet, okay? We have not confirmed on the daily, same trend line, we have not confirmed it as a resistance, okay? This is why I've stated, look, we can still go higher. Because if we spend, for example, some days into a distribution year, I'm not really gonna be calling it accumulation, but if you want, you can do that. That's fine. Basically, what that's going to do is basically take these trend lines even further, meaning that if I go back on the 4-hour just to make sure that anything basically stays the same. If I extend these trend lines right here, right, and I do exactly as I did before, take basically point them in the same exact direction as before, what do you see? Yeah, I think this is fine. I think it was a bit higher on this low, the trend line, but I think it's fine. I think you get the point, right? So the more time passes on the daily, and of course, the higher the target it's going to be for Bitcoin, okay? That is if we need to retest it now, okay? There's multiple scenarios that I'm going to be going through into this video. One thing that I want to do is basically write them all down just so that you guys know exactly what to expect depending on what basically unfolds, okay? The situation, so therefore, is this. But, okay? But as I told you, there is a different couple of scenarios that can honestly happen. If I go on the weekly, what you see, that this rectangle right here, what is it? It's basically previous resistance of the previous all-time high, right? Now, potentially, if we have to go higher, this now needs to turn into a support. One thing that has not happened on this chart, on other charts, I think it has, but as you guys can see, we have not closed any weekly candle above this resistance right here. Okay, so even though we are now making new all-time highs, you can see that it's just a mere wick, right? It's a wick. It's not a candle closure. So therefore, there's nothing really confirmed right now. That's why I'm telling you, look, there's a lot of scenarios that can happen right now, okay? Straight up. There's no way for me to tell you, look, we can go down right now, or we can keep on going up. We need to adapt to the market, okay? Just like water, we need to flow with the market. What do you see? In the bullish scenario, we have now hit a golden pocket, right? So the 61.8 to the 79% range, okay, of the golden pocket. Basically what I did is essentially, and to be honest, you could also do in a different way. No, I think it's in this case, because if I take from bottom to high, because this is a future chart and we have had some interesting liquidations and some pretty big wicks, right now, the golden pocket remains unfulfilled. Is that necessarily wrong? It is not. But in order for me to remain conservative, I have to go from body to body, okay? From body to body, you can see that the golden pocket has now been retested, okay? We have gone there, and we are actually now bouncing higher. And it's also a place where, as I stated before on Involio, let me show you exactly this thing again, just to make sure that you guys can see that I'm not doing anything different, right? It's the same chart with the same violet rectangle, okay? This rectangle right here, I was calling it either a make or break essentially for Bitcoin. Either it turns into a support, which is currently what we're seeing, or it turns into a resistance upon a break lower, retest, and continuation to the downside, okay? Bullish scenario is basically either we do two of the following things. Either we go into retesting this trend line and then we break lower. So even though it starts bullish, it's still a bearish scenario. Or we do something really crazy. We get into more FOMO into Bitcoin, and we have basically this type of scenario, okay? We have retraced lower, right, into the golden pocket, and we basically extend, therefore we basically reclaim this broken trend line, or trend lines we should say, because it's two of those, okay? We reclaim them as support upon a retest, and then we go towards these other two trend lines that we have right here that I don't think we have ever retested, at least on the daily. If I go on the 4 hour, we can see that we have actually retested both of these trend lines. As you can see, we have retested this trend line right here, confirmed this as a resistance. Yes, we have marched higher, but we have never retested this trend line. Now, if you guys know how actually the trend lines work, you know that I'm correct on what I'm trying to get across right now, okay? So basically, if I were to extend this, I'm not going to extend this as well because I think you guys get the point. Now fuck it, I'm just going to do it, okay? Potentially, we're then going to be looking at potentially, and I'm just telling you the scenarios, but it's not necessarily what I'm expecting, but potentially an 82k Bitcoin to possibly 92 or 96, okay? I don't think we're going to see 100k. Again, I may be wrong. And truth be told, guys, I don't care about Bitcoin. I mean altcoins, okay? I don't own Bitcoin. Never claimed I did. I don't really care about Bitcoin, okay? But on this channel, I talk about Bitcoin because it's still correlated with our altcoins, and we need to understand what Bitcoin wants to do next in order to determine when the alt season can start, okay? So basically the first two scenarios, which are kind of bullish, if you guys want to say that, are basically these two. So scenario number one is basically retest the broken trend lines, and then we dump further. Scenario number two is we reclaim the first two trend lines as support, and then we go to retest the other broken trend lines, okay? Now let's look at the other scenarios, which are the bearish scenarios. And as you guys can see, by the way, we have some trend lines going on to the downside that have been broken out to, but have never been retested, which will still lead us to the downside, okay? And now we're going to be looking for correlations for this potential move, okay? So what do we see here? We see that if I go from this side right here to this low, we have hit the golden pocket, so therefore this Fibonacci has now been validated. But if I were to extend it, we have not hit the golden pocket yet, okay? So I think that potentially, one thing also that you guys need to understand is that the psychological aspect that is going on right now is that every dip is a gift. Okay, literally everyone in the market right now, they're saying buy the dip, because look at what happened last time. Look at what happened last time. Every single time it keeps on going up, right? So you better buy these dips. This is exactly what everyone is telling you. It is exactly what I told you in the last video. Okay, and you can go and check for yourself if you don't believe. And it's also what I told you earlier in this video. Okay, because they're going to be saying, look, we always had a dump before the halving, this is normal, by the dip. Even if you go a bit lower, they're going to be saying the same things. Okay, it's basically coping. But anyway, we could have a scenario basically that could take us back to this golden pocket, potentially even breach through a little bit with a wick, and then go lower again. Okay, the first realistic target is a full extension to $57,000. Okay, and if I were to correlate this idea with some bullish fibs, what do we see? Is that this target right here that I just gave you with the bearish fib aligns with the bullish golden pocket, which is also another potential scenario. Okay, basically a return into this area right here. Do not look at this retracement right here, because this is not from the same Fibonacci, because the high is this one right here. Okay, it's a different high that has been registered. Okay, the reason why I am showing you guys this Fibonacci, it's because you need to understand that, look, when Fibonacci's do not get retested, because eventually I think that every Fibonacci will have price revisit its golden pocket. Okay, what do you see? While price was going up, we never retested the golden pockets. If I were to drag it higher, you can see that the golden pocket has never been retested. Okay, so potentially, if we do start to dump from here, I do believe that we're going to find somewhat of support in this area initially. Okay, so basically between 60k and 56k. Okay, that's why I think I was stating this on that Telegram chat. I don't remember if I stated exactly these values, but in the premium group, my cruise community, they know about this target, so nothing new. Then what happens is that we can go and do the retest on the daily of the same trend lines that I was talking about. Okay, it's still a possibility. Because of course we may dump further than this. Okay, not retest the trend lines, we go straight to between 60 and 56k, and then we retest this trend right here, which potentially will obviously give us a new all-time high. In that case, I believe that will be such a huge trap for the retail that they're not going to be seeing it coming. I think that the structure is still bearish potentially, so even if you see new all-time highs, it's not necessarily a bullish thing. That's why I actually stated that if you go on Involio, I'm not going to search it up, but you guys can, because look, if I'm telling you, you can find it for yourself. On Involio, some time ago, I said, look, I'm not really bullish on the halving. Watch this halving be bearish. Okay, so even if we make a new all-time high, that's not necessarily a bullish thing for Bitcoin. That's another scenario that you may want to look for. These two scenarios that I'm showing you guys right now. So if I go back, okay, and I show you, well, not show you, and we summarize one more time the possible scenarios. We have scenario number 3, which is basically retest of the short-term bearish fib to retest the broken trend lines on the daily before potentially pushing down to 56 56 and 60k. Okay, Then of course we have scenario number 4, which is basically we drop directly to around 60 to 56k, and we retest the broken trend lines in a second, no, later. Okay, this is scenario number 4, but we are not done, because honestly guys, there's so much that you need to keep in mind in this situation right now. Then I'm also going to be giving you a higher time frame perspective than the weekly, so please wait a little bit, be patient. I'm trying to show you guys every single thing that I'm seeing in the chart, and it's the same thing that I'm telling to my members and students. Okay. Of course, another crazy thing that could happen is that this trend line right here doesn't get retested. We retrace to around this area. We confirm this rectangle right here as a resistance, and then we proceed on going lower. If we were to go lower on this basis, what will this be? It will be an head and shoulder pattern. Pretty sure that you guys can see how that will be forming, right? And another thing that we need to add as a confluence, and let me go on the weekly because that will take me quite a bit to do, is we do the same thing with the Fibonacci's, right? So from low to high, we can see that this golden pocket has been achieved. Therefore, what I'm going to do is measure from this low right here to the next highs. As this golden pocket be it in this case? No. Let me check. Let me see if that golden pocket has been it. That's 61.8. And as you guys can see, look, I'm very picky with this stuff. I'm somewhat of a sniper when it comes to trading, or at least I try to be. And 61.8 has been hit. Okay, so what it's going to happen then is we do the same thing again. Low to high, you can see that the golden pocket has been hit. Low to high. Here, what do you see? We have not retested the golden pocket anymore from this point on. And you can see that the price has extended. Therefore, what do? From this low right here to the high, the all-time high, the current all-time high. Of course, if we make new all-time highs, we will need to readapt. We are now looking potentially to between 43 and 35k. Of course, that would be a pretty significant drop. That will finally hit all the liquidations that have been created in this area, because a lot of people are going long. They're seeing easy markets where basically there is a little bit of a dump if you're lucky, and then everything keeps on going up. You can be the worst trader ever and be profitable right now. Like, quite honestly, the real ones guys know when I say this stuff, that what I'm saying is basically true. And what do you notice is that if we retest this area right here, is it an important point for Bitcoin? Of course it is, guys. Look at what happened in this area. It's initially where we found somewhat of a little bit of resistance in 2021. Then we've of course broke through. Look at what happened next. We have retested this as support, and then we were able to create that 65k all-time high. We then broke down. Where did we find somewhat of a support? In this area right here. Of course, yeah, we broke a little bit down. It doesn't really matter, because then we have reclaimed it. We have retested it one more time, because it's exactly what this retrace right here has actually proposed. Look, it's an area where price has actually engaged quite a bit in a bull run. Okay, so you know that this level is quite important. We had then confirmed it as a support. We were then able to make the 69k all-time high. We have then retraced again. You can see somewhat of a bounce. We broke down lower. We stayed within this area to distribute a little more. We gave them the illusion of support one more time, but the more time you spend in a support or resistance, the more likely it is to break. Okay, we then broke lower. Okay, if I were to extend from lower to high, the Fibonacci, you can see that the golden pocket is actually then a little bit different. Okay, even this would be valid, and it actually shows pretty much the same exact thing. but it's a little bit different. Look, I'm going to keep it the same way I showed before because I think it's more relevant as to what is going on right now. And what do you notice? What happened during this current move to the upside? We have actually did a little bit of consolidation in the same area we did consolidation in the previous run. Now, what do you see? We have broken this resistance, previous resistance, but we never retested it. Therefore, I think that a return to 43 or 35 is actually pretty likely. When it has to happen, I don't know. But I'm telling you, this is something that is likely. People that tell you that 69k is the new floor and that we're never going to go lower, even though we're currently lower than 69k are basically a bunch of clowns. Okay? They don't know anything about price action. They don't know anything that they're saying. They're just influencers that are influencing you into taking bad decisions. Case closed. Okay. Then, look, of course, there's this possibility right here. Does that invalidate the bullish scenario for Bitcoin? Not necessarily, because one thing that you will then need to consider is that we will then have another bearish Fibonacci. And I know I'm going in depth into this, and then I'm also projecting possible future price action. And it's to give you the best insight that I can give you regarding Bitcoin and what I see, okay? That's basically the reason why I'm doing it. If we did, and I'm going to clean up a little bit the chart. If we did something such as this, what do you see? That, of course, I don't know where it's going to land, but assuming that we land at the 61.8 from the current all-time high, as you guys can see, even if it were to drop a little bit more or drop a little bit, I think that the 61.8 in that case would be minimum, so I'm going to keep it at least 61.8. If we drop a little bit lower, it doesn't really matter, because what I'm trying to state is that the bearish golden pocket is still going to be at what? The current resistance or the previous all-time high. So it's exactly what you will expect in normal price action, right? You break what is currently, which is not, but let's assume that this is support, right? You break support, it turns into resistance, but you need to retest it, right? So eventually this could turn into a retest to potentially lead us lower for Bitcoin, okay? Now, this will be scenario, I think number 5 and 6, probably. Let's just say number 5. We drop to hold on, let me see a little bit. Okay, so number 5 and 6. We drop to trying to read the perception again. I think it's scenario number 5 is we drop to around 56 to 60k. We retest 65 to 67k and then move down towards 43 and 35k. Scenario number 6 is we drop straight to 43, 35k, retrace back to around 62, and I'm going to be conservative, so I'm going to give a broad target, 62 to 69k. Just because I don't know exactly where it's going to be positioned, this golden pocket, but as you guys can see, it's basically in this rectangle right here. By the way, this is not a bearish fair value gap. I just had that on the template. I forgot to mention that. Retrace back to 62.69k and potentially move to new lows for Bitcoin. You guys can guess what will happen to the altcoins market. I'm not going to be covering them in this video and future videos. I don't think I'm going to be making video on altcoins. I think that will remain something specifically for community members, unless I change my mind in the future. But as you guys can see, these are the scenarios, and for the scenario number 5, number 6, based on what happens, and if we do make another all-time high, then I will tell you if there's still a possibility for Bitcoin to make a new all-time high or not. Okay, and now let's go back on the Kraken chart, because as you guys can see, it's basically what I told you on the other chart is basically what I'm seeing on this chart as well. Okay, except for that this is a spot chart on Kraken, and the golden pocket in this case is between 40k to 30k. Okay, and as you guys can see, the value over here, it's a little bit different. I think most people use Binance, so I thought I would do it on a perpetual chart for Binance, the analysis. But basically, the trend lines are somewhat the same. Yeah, maybe a little bit different, because it's I believe on the other chart I took it from this low right here, but as you guys can see, they're pretty much the same thing. Both trend lines are actually valid. Okay, so same way that, as you guys can see, pinpoint precision was achieved in this case. It's the same way that on the other chart you see pinpoint precision. It's just different price action and different reference points, but as you guys can see, it's pretty much valid on the same exact way. Now I'm going to conclude the video, and by the way guys, make sure that you smash the like button if you guys enjoyed this video so far. Make sure that you subscribe, comment down your thoughts. Do you see that my scenarios are valid? Do you think I'm completely wrong? Let me know. If you're crazy bullish, you believe that BlackRock wants to be rich and wealthy, wants to see you have and own a Bitcoin above 300k, and yada yada yada. Okay, let me know your thoughts, because I'm definitely interested into knowing those. And yeah, I don't think it's necessary that I spend more time on this Kraken chart. But once again, let me remind you that on the dominance, people say all this kind of stuff that we're broken out of the dominance. We are actually still following my projection. The trend and then I'm watching for on the 4 hour is this point right here. As you can see, we are actually testing a support. If it breaks lower, then I will tell you, but right now it's still acting as support, and still and my projection is still valid. Okay, so I'm still looking up to around a minimum 58%, but ideally 60 to ideally 63, with the possibility of moving higher to 66. And of course, if Bitcoin corrects majorly, you can expect a bloodbath on altcoins. And you guys need to understand that literally everyone is bullish on altcoins. Therefore, it makes absolute sense that the market destroys the sentiment in altcoins before an actual alt season starts. And that's why I still have exposure, and that's why my cash is going to be deployed into altcoins even more than what it is, because it's actually quite a bit. My exposure, it's 50%, which is not a small amount for a perspective like mine. Okay, and I'm in a position which I believe it's one of the best in the market, and not to sound cocky or anything, but because I believe it's the smartest way to take the market right now. It's very uncertain, and I'll tell you why it's also very uncertain in the next chart. But look, I'm in a point where if I am wrong, I'm going to be making more money. Okay, if I'm right, I make even more money. So I think that it's basically the best position to be in. I already made more than what I put into the market during the bear market, because I bought the lows, and then I'm selling while you're buying, and that's the game I'm playing. You may want to play another game. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and it's paying off very good. So why stop here, right? Now let's go on the CME future chart. What do you see? All the gaps to the upside have been filled, right? Now we have to start looking down, which correlates to my projection, right? I give you so many targets, so many to the downside, where you can find basically the same volume imbalances in the same area. Granted, the price action, the prices are a little bit different in this chart. As you guys can see here, we've already hit an all-time high over 74k. In the other charts, we have probably not. As you guys can see, on the Binance chart, we didn't. So the price action is a little bit different. It's a little bit off, but either way, the gaps will eventually be filled. Don't think for 1 second that these gaps all the way down are impossible to fill, because that's what the market wants you to think. So that when it happens, if you didn't expect it, you will be out of the market, guaranteed. You will be shaken out, and that's where the real ballers will be buying. Okay, now we go to the S&P 500 chart. I already showed this in the last video. We compare it to the Bitcoin chart, which is not this chart right here. I believe it was not this one. So it's hard to remember on which chart I did this. Yeah, okay. Here it is, okay. What do you see, guys? Very, very similar price action to Bitcoin. If I go on, let me go on the weekly, why not? For Bitcoin as well. What do you see? Keeps on going up, never, no major retracement. Okay, same thing that that S&P did before the 2008 financial crisis. Very similar price action, because what do you see here? A previous all-time high, then a newer one. Same thing that Bitcoin did. We then retraced to a previous consolidation point. Same thing that we did here. Now, what is this? It's a premium and discount range. How do ranges work? They basically work that when you break to one side, whether it's to the downside or the upside on the first breakout, okay, out of the range, you're then expecting price to revisit the other side of the range. And then on the third breakout, you expect it to take the direction of the first breakout that it proposed, okay? As you guys can see, first breakout it's to the upside, the second one to the downside, and third one is to the upside. Exactly what I'm thinking for Bitcoin. I think that more than likely, I may be wrong on this, I don't think we will see 100k in this run. I think we will see 100k after after we break 15k, and then it could probably be even much more than 100k. Okay, this could be a buy of a lifetime, exactly like it would have been a buy of a lifetime buying S&P 500 at these lows. Okay, don't hate me, eat the game if you don't like to hear this. I'm also leaning towards maybe not necessarily. I gave you multiple scenarios exactly for this reason. You know, we may not go down directly to 40 or 30k. That's completely fine with me. But we may go down to 60 and 56k. That could be enough, because by doing that, we have a very similar structure to the S&P 500. Potentially we make a new all-time high after the halving, so that people get sucked in and say, look, halving, we make a new all-time high, we're going to be making we're going to be going even higher, it's going to be parabolic, see, enjoy being poor, that were the lows, and yada yada yada. I think that would be the best trap the market makers could have set to all these moon boys, quite frankly, and then potentially reverse it. There's also a possibility that we do all of this during the month of March, okay? That's a very possible possibility, unless we close the month of March inside of the range. But we'll see. There's honestly various possibility of how this can play out. We could also crash hard don't make a new all-time high, retrace to like this area and then break lower, and this run-up is basically the FOMO towards the halving. That's honestly also a possibility, especially if we make a new all-time high during the retest of that trend line that I was talking about earlier, and we basically make this run-up right now, okay? And then we get something like this for the halving, and then we dump. Honestly, that would be such a possible scenario. People that don't like to hear this stuff are people that are neglecting to basically say that you know, Bitcoin was released after the recession and has never been through one recession, so we don't really know how this asset class will be behaving in case of a financial crisis or somewhat of a recession. If the US goes into a recession, it's easy to say that Bitcoin is good as an inflation hedge and stuff like that. I don't believe that's necessarily the case. I think that it could be eventually, but not right now. I believe that Bitcoin is subject to the same volatility that the stock market may suffer, at least temporarily, to break the lows, you know, reset the market, put people into fear. Right now, I believe that the markets are way too greedy, way too greedy for my likings. Nvidia, I'm not going to go into the charts, but I believe that you guys have seen what is going on in Nvidia. You don't think that's a bubble? That's the same thing that Bitcoin was doing in 2021. Okay, you call me crazy after telling you that, look, we may retrace hard. I don't think so, man. Okay, so this is all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want more of this. Let me know what you want to see. I also have a surprise for you. Another video that I may release very soon is going to be regarding a 100x altcoin that I'm into, and that I think it's going to be a good buy. Of course, I'm not going to be telling you to FOMO right now, because the same perception that I'm telling you for Bitcoin, that coin is good. It's also going to be subject to that kind of volatility, but it's going to be, in my opinion, a good project to DCA into. Okay, this is all. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.